Hello and welcome back. This is Ray at P2P Cryptos signing in. A lot of exciting things are happening in the titanium world. Today, we will welcome Mr. Michael Stoller, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Titanium, and talk to him about certain recent updates at Titanium. Before we do that, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let's go ahead and wait for Michael to join in. Hello and welcome back again. We have with us Mr. Michael Stoller, CEO of Titanium. It's good to have you here, Michael.
It's great. Glad to be back. There's been a long period of silence, but there's good reasons for that. And we're about to find out what they are.
All right, thank you. Now, as you all know, there was an announcement that Michael would be coming on our channel and making a major announcement. So I want to give Michael the opportunity and thank him for this and make that announcement. After that, we'll continue with our questions. So Michael, without any further ado, the floor is all yours. Please go ahead and make that announcement.
Thank you. The first thing I'll say is kind of back to the silence before I go into it. We're kind of playing, like I said, off the air kind of press secretary thing going on. Is that people probably still aren't used to the way that I used to be in the front lines all the time and talking all the time and mics around all the time. But the reality is, and why isn't he now? And there's a good reason for that. I'm doing my damn job. Okay, I'm being the CEO of this corporation, and every single day, I really mean it when I say I want to look back at that day and say to myself, even if it's like this, that Titanium has made that step, an incremental gradualism towards becoming my objective of the first blockchain startup that has achieved Fortune 500 status. And the fact is that if I was acting like I did previously, it's almost political, shaking hands and trying to get votes and all that type of stuff that occurred previously, that I would not be doing my job. And I am doing my job, and I'm doing that successfully, and we're about to find out why. And one last thing, I'm a visual guy. If I'm silent, for a long period of time, other than doing my job, as a guy that grew up in the country, I'm pretty good with, guns and bows. I was a competitive archer. If I'm silent, I want you to envision this.
Getting it ready.
Now we're going to let the first arrow go right now. All right.
We are all ready to hear that.
Good. So we're going to talk about Vordex. Vordex is a truly decentralized exchange in the state-of-the-art exchange market. Like in any decentralized exchange, any trades will occur directly between Vordex users, peer-to-peer. I bet you like that, Ray, and a lot of other people, right? Vordex's goal is for total user liquidity for their funds at all times. The biggest advantage of Vordex will be that users don't need to worry about people who run the exchange, like with centralized exchanges, simply because user funds are held by the users themselves in their personal wallet. Vordex is going to usher in a new era of exchange liquidity, decentralization, and security. The reason I chose to wait on announcing Vordex is, I was going to say my mantra, but Ray, it's our mantra, okay? Under promise, over deliver.
Right.
Now that the project is fully lined up, I'm ready to promise, through our collaboration with Project Poma, Titanium now has the best team of developers, engineers, and blockchain brains in the Southern Hemisphere. That's right. I've secured and locked this in. It's a done deal. Now, here's the announcement. The past weeks have brought some unanticipated and exciting developments for Titanium. I'm talking about hardcore results, ladies and gentlemen, not promises. As a representative of Project Poma and Team Titanium, I've asked you for this interview to make an announcement. Our communities deserve the best products, communication, and customer service, period. I have to ask you to forgive by speaking in broad terms. I can't reveal too much about Poma's technology, as I'm sure you understand. Okay. So here we go. Via the Poma partnership, Titanium has secured a fully functioning utility for the Tbar token use much sooner than anticipated. I'm talking about a functional, real-life use case for Tbar tokens, already well under development. It's not a vision, it's here. And here's how it'll work. Poma has developed a turnkey payment system focused on support for the most used CMS systems in the world. WordPress drives 30% of all websites and web shops and is therefore the most used CMS worldwide. For this reason, Poma has chosen to launch their initial support system for this platform. With this online payment system, Poma's focus is online e-commerce, more specifically plugins, add-ons, and extensions. The Tbar token will be accepted in exchange for this service in
Wow,
real everyday life soon.
that's
Again,
huge.
30%,
Percent of the web uses WordPress.
not 3,
30%.
30.
Wow, that's huge.
Facts. Well, I did say I wasn't kidding. Facts do not lie. WordPress is the top content management system in the world, no matter what people say. You can't argue with numbers. The facts are clear. 27% of the internet is powered by WordPress, and 20% is self-hosted by its owners, and this means close to, wait for it, 40 million websites.
Oh my gosh. 40 million websites. And Tbar
Yeah.
would be used as a payment system for the turnkey payment system. This
Uh-huh.
is massive. This is massive.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Huge. Right? Well, I was going to use other words, but hey, I'll just let you do it. But we're not done yet. Project Poma's turnkey payment system will be implemented for many of the most widely used open source CMS platforms, such as Drupal, Magento, and others. Joint marketing between Project Poma and Titanium will aid rapid adoption of Tbar's use in these systems as well. I'll say it again. The Tbar token is going to be accepted in exchange for this service, just like paper money would in the old days. And you want to hear more, right?
I'm ready. I'll, this is good. This is good.
We're doing well. What's good? I mean, I'll say, just as a break. What are we doing? There was a time where things were happening, and there was this very
Yeah.
positive response, and I'm like, what's going on, Mike? Why is this happening? We're doing our job.
Yes.
We said we'd do this, and we're doing it. This is all I'm announcing today. We said we'd do things like this. Do not be surprised that we're actually doing it.
Wow.
Okay?
This is good.
Now,
Go
the
ahead.
payment gateways and systems, I'm almost done. The payment gateways and systems are not only suitable for websites and web shops. With a few clicks, wait for it, restaurants, hotels, and bars, for example, can quickly and simply gain access through a planned integration and various booking applications that already exist.
Cool. So we have real world applications using Tbar in their ecosystems through the payment system.
Mm-hmm.
That is great.
This
Now,
is just one extension.
okay.
I didn't want to be the jerk that stole the show here for half the show. I could go on for a while.
No, this is your time. The Titanium. This is Titanium's time to showcase their products along with Poma. And this collaboration has been the best thing that could have happened along with the others, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm sure that I was just looking up this. In fact, to add, just roll off some statistics out there to make sure that we got this right. Almost 30% of the web, of the total web, uses the WordPress for their support. And Poma and you guys are developing a support system and using Tbar for their payment system for the online. Now, I was just looking, as you were talking there, I was looking at some of the other statistics. There's one more thing. 60 million people use, the WordPress for either blogs, content management sites. 60 million. That's the exposure we are getting then, along with that. So
it's only 20% of the United States, Ray. No big deal.
And there was one more. I think it had there are plugins for the WordPress. I think about 14,500 or something plugins. So you are looking at a massive exposure where if you have that, you already have, and you said that you already have the developed the payment system.
Yeah,
and
I've got a couple more things to say and I'll be done, but I've seen betas.
Wow, this is great. This is huge news. Michael, to be honest with you,
and then I'll shut up. I swear to God.
Go ahead. Because I was just excited, and I was looking up some of the information. This is huge news. Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, because the days of this, even myself, the days of the visionary stuff about this is what we're going to do kind of thing, they're over. I'm forcing it upon my own company, anybody that's on our ICO incubator platform and all. It has to turn into, without, it's going to be a leather jacket in this case instead of a turtleneck, right? It has to be Steve Jobs walks on out there. We're working on a new product. It's called the iPhone, and there it is.
Yeah.
So I just did that today for you. I promised what I said I'd do on your show. I've delivered.
Thank
I
you.
say it happens. It happens. There you are.
We are honored to have this. So this is great. This is great. Do you want to add anything to that?
Well, we're just, again, we're partnering ourselves with the best, best blockchain companies, not projects. Okay, again, you want a project? Go build that treehouse for your kids in the backyard, all right? Just don't get in touch with me and tell me about it. I don't want to know about it. We've
Okay.
got companies now. This blockchain alliance, the thing that people glossed over, and it was their mistake to gloss over that, was the sharing of resources between the partners.
Yes.
And
Yes,
now
yes.
you're seeing what I told you would happen. 1 + 1 isn't 2, it's 3.
Yeah.
Synergy, right here and now.
Synergies. Yeah, synergies. I
Titanium and Poma are flint and steel. Fire.
Awesome. All right. Now, this is, again, I want to thank you for coming on our channel to make this announcement. This is big news, guys. We'll see the real life usage of titanium. And that is the big news here. Because imagine we are still not at, started with the actual beta of the titanium blockchain in the wallet. I have some questions on that too. So I'll come back to that on then understand exactly what it is. So again, we spent about a few minutes on the massive announcement out there. I feel this is huge news. From a technical standpoint, coming in, I have a technical background, so I understand what that really means. So thank you for that. All right. Are you ready for the questions? I'm going to grill you today, Michael.
Let the interrogation begin.
All right. The first one goes like this. The new revised white paper talks about achieving up to about 1 million transactions per minute, which amounts to about 17,000 transactions per second if you do some simple math, which is 10 times more than what Visa can handle currently. That would be great if it's consistent. Now, how does this benefit the infrastructure space since the high throughput is required for instant payment and the clearing systems?
Well, it's above and beyond that, right? When people say transactions, and as you're aware, I was in San Francisco. I'd like to say relatively recently, and the first statement that I made after a bunch of people came up and talked about their version of the better Bitcoin cryptocurrency, this and that. I'm not downplaying the importance of things like that, but the fact is that Bitcoin was launched in 2009, and pretty soon it's going to be 2019, 10 years later, a full decade. And when I went on, some things happened, kind of like today. I was supposed to talk to you at a certain time. It didn't happen. And I was upset that, you know me, I'm a rigorous routine guy. It's like, why didn't I go on at 3:45, and then it turned into my, advantage. And I ended up going on last. Now, I didn't know that until it actually happened, but I, went on last. And I said the following. I said, well, I just like yourselves, I had the opportunity to, see the presenters before myself, and I have disappointing news for you. I'm not going to talk to you about cryptocurrency, investments, Bitcoin, how to make it better and all that, because I could care less about it. In the next 15 minutes, for the first time, everybody has talked about how blockchain technology is the most exciting invention and the most significant invention since the internet. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you real products in the titanium ecosystem that will change the world.
Right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
That's what I said to that. But that's the point. I don't want to talk about this money. I mean, this payment processing system, you got it. It's got all these APIs and all these plugins.
The plugins are there. Yeah. This is, it still has to sink in because
people need to process
people need to process that. As a technical guy, I'm still trying to understand the use cases which it can really open up.
Right.
You talk about restaurants, you talk about certain other merchants which are there, right? This can be huge. And this is a turnkey payment system. It's a product. It's a turnkey payment system. So that's really good. So, and adding to that, I think the 17, what is claimed in the white paper of about 1 million transactions per minute, I think that will help in the long run along with these kind of
yes, and I didn't dodge that, by the way. I'll get back to it, right? So the point is that when people talk about transactions, the first thing they think about is stuff like this, we've got, here's a couple of things, I've got my props, of course. Here's the $100 trillion note from Zimbabwe. That's great. Okay. This is what it is, a $500 bill from Monopoly. Who the hell cares? This, I don't want to talk about this stuff. What this payment processing system is, it should be, how about we just start calling it a transaction processing system?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be money, folks.
Yeah.
This money thing, it's all great. I think it's wonderful. We
Yeah.
just have to we have to punch outside this subculture of being in this 3% of the world that understands blockchain and give it the real world use cases.
Right.
Now, just this one thing, we put it there into WordPress, and then 8 digits of people have just been brought into that subculture, and it's no longer a subculture right there. As soon as it's lit up, put into production, I'll never use the word subculture again. And then this term mass adoption that keeps, again, people keep talking about it, and I
Power
wonder.
of mass adoption. Yes.
Exactly. It's like the US Congress, or any, governmental legislature. They talk a lot and do very little. It just happened. That's it. As soon as that thing lights up, I'll never use the term subculture again, because that's it. It's not a subculture. I talked about how we could force it to transpire. They don't even know what's going on, but they're
Yeah.
using it, and there it is. It's there. They're using it on a daily basis. It's become part of their routine. They go down to Baskin Robbins and they buy an ice cream cone.
Wow. This is great.
And here comes the card. It's not a paper card, but it's the card on the phone. And then the loyalty thing. Give me the think.
Cool. Okay. So going on.
Let it sink in, right?
Yeah, I know. This is not my typical interview. This is something where you gave me a kind of news which I'm trying to process still. So I'm sorry to the viewers if I'm a little bit shaken with asking the questions, because I'm trying to process. This is again to just answer that. Just because a big corporation, a known name, collaborates with someone doesn't make big news. It's the content, how it's presented, and what is the real case use is what really matters. And this is really something I want people to understand, that this is something huge, because it addresses some problem where you're providing a resolution for, right? And that's really great.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Now, I did go through your revised white paper, and there's a lot of things which make sense. And I brought up the concept of the off-chain technology. So I have a question on that for you.
Sure.
Off-chain technology has been synonymous with Raiden network of Ethereum and the Lightning network. There has been a lot of references to off-chain technology in the revised white paper.
Yeah.
What is the idea behind this for the Titanium ecosystem, and how does this help the Titanium community?
Yes, I mean, well, first of all, if I didn't help the Titanium community in the last 10, 15 minutes, I don't know what to freaking do, to be honest with you. I mean, but anyways, but once you do that, now we're back in my land of enterprise management, scalability, performance and capacity planning, and whatnot. And this is, it's near and dear to you, is that we didn't just make something scalable now. We did what people like myself do, and it's our ultimate achievement for any customer, is 12 to 18 months down the road. It still is, but we're watching it. We're always watching it, and that's what enterprise management tools do. And as soon as we can predict in a what if causal analysis scenario that in 12 months or 6 months or whatever, that this piece of the infrastructure needs to be fine-tuned. Something's wrong with the software code. It needs more processor. It needs more memory. The disk is not going to handle it any longer. We need more disk, but we need more robust disk in the form of SSDs.
Okay.
All this feedback's coming back now. Now we've got what I did for 20 years, except it's the first time setting a precedent that enterprise management has been brought to blockchain technology by Titanium.
Cool.
Never before, first time.
Cool. That makes sense. All right. The next question I have for you. In our last interview, there was mention about some deals in Asia, specifically Thailand. Do you have any information or any updates regarding that, and any prospective client deals in the pipeline?
Yes, I can say this, that the San Francisco, as you can imagine, Mike being Mike and coming out there and saying, I'm gonna, you're gonna show you how to change the world in 15 minutes. That caught their attention. I had an active captive audience, and that went exceptionally well. Now there are things that are, there's this thing called the serenity prayer, and what it says is, you have to have the patience to know what's under your control and not, and know the difference between the two of these things. Now, I know what I've got control over, my presentation, my capability to convince people that Titanium is an exceptional and precedent setting technology, and I have control over that. Now, what I don't have control over is political maneuvers in certain countries, and right now they're going under a soft military coup. and
Okay.
we don't know who the president's going to be, and it's not like the United States where there's a bunch of mudslinging that goes on, and eventually somebody goes into office whether anybody likes it or not, and suddenly their opponent is smiling and shaking their hand, wishing them luck and all that stuff.
Right.
That suddenly this going, oh yes, you're a great guy, wish you luck. In other countries it can be violence, it can cause civil unrest, and my contacts in that area, I got in touch with them and I'm like, hey, let's when can I come and identify the people. It wasn't hard. They came up to me. It's like, here's my business card. Give it to me. It was like that. Yeah, I said, let's set up the follow-up meetings. Instead of them coming to San Francisco, it's my turn. I'll go to Bangkok.
Okay.
Let's set up. I mean, we know that these are the hot spots. We're taking more steps along those lines of identifying the hot spots that make sense for titanium and setting up more concrete stuff there. I'll say.
Okay.
It's just right now, and I said, hey, I got in touch with them. I'm like, hey, I know how to set up a corporation in the United States and all that stuff, but you guys have already got this in existence. Please just let's get the process started in terms of setting up an office in Thailand. And they said, hey, no, Mike, it's not the time. And in typical form. And again, this is good. Didn't you see the news? No, I work 24/7 for titanium. I'm here in this office before everybody. I leave after everybody Saturday and Sunday. What's going on now? It's really the truth. I don't know what's going on in the news. People have to tell me about it. And they're like, well, there's a military coup going on here. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
well, that's a sticky wicket, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're thinking about other locations. I can't say anything for certain. Okay.
No problem.
But we're all over it is what
Okay.
I can say. So, but we have to be patient in this particular case. It's not that
I
they're not
understand.
interested. It's just they're business owners too. And when an administration change occurs in the United States, we wait for that new administration to get in there,
Okay.
and they say, here's what we're going to do for taxation, welfare, all this other stuff that comes up that will directly or indirectly affect that business. And only when that's set in stone, or even vaguely and then set in stone, then they'll start taking actions in terms of looking at their budget, allocating resources. And so we're waiting on that in that country, but we're not waiting in others. We're going
So
after
the
it.
wheels are in motion. There's work
Yeah.
being done. So that's great to know. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that when you're ready for that, we'll probably have another interview and we can do that. All right.
Sure thing.
All right. Now, coming back to that, I talked about the end of the second quarter, which is June 30th, has some big milestones on the roadmap with beta releases for the Titanium blockchain and the wallet. With close to 8 weeks left, and are we good on the schedule and the timeline, since this will be a major foundational block for Titanium?
Yeah, we're solid. It's going to be like the MVP, and since you brought up quarter two, I'm gonna tell you I lied. There's one more thing I've got to tell you from the announcement that I forgot. That's kind of important in this area.
Okay.
Is that yes, it's the same thing. Under promise, over deliver. Get it where we want it to be. 1-2 weeks out, and then do the fine tuning. Do some internal testing, any type of things that come back that we feel that should be improved, etc. But we're on target, and I feel very strongly and confident that that's not going to be a problem whatsoever. But back to the Poma payment system.
Okay.
I told you the beta tests are rolling. But these services that I'm talking to you about, this is a may, not a will, okay, may become publicly available as soon as quarter two this year.
So we are looking at this going live in the second quarter of 2018.
Not 2019.
To be honest with you, I think we need to understand this very clearly, Michael, because the way titanium has been perceived is that if you look at the roadmap, there's development, there's milestones set till 2019, and they think that 2019, end of 2019 is when everything will be ready for live. But look at this, Tbar will become a live Tbar being used in an ecosystem of the WordPress, but in the second quarter of 2018. Am I clear there?
Not promising it, because you know what's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
What's going to happen is people are going to take that have video skills,
I know.
Video, and they're going to cut everything out, and there's going to be Michael promises that no doubt. Again, we're shooting for it.
Okay.
We're just, again, this is what we want to do, but this is also normal, right? Okay. In 05, HP Here's the best example. If I've used it before in your show, I'm sorry, but
Okay.
it's the most prominent salient example of all time. For a few years, people were coming to them, and I was there, frankly, doing alpha beta testing, for them in Compaq at the time, Fiorina, and and they said, hey, people are coming in and saying we need application performance management. The level of detail and instrumentation for enterprise management is just not getting there. We need to know what's going on inside that application. Sound familiar, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and HP is like, yeah, we're number one. We don't need that, whatever. And so this other company that was still there, it's not new, but relatively new, Mercury Interactive,
Okay.
concentrated on this, knew that this was the future, or they were confident that it was the future, and they paid attention to that feedback, and they developed the most extensive, best of breed application performance management, enterprise management tools in existence. And boy, did it catch on. They became a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Now HP had their competitor. Now they're like, wow, I guess we should have paid attention to all that feedback from our clients and and people like me that's saying, hey, that's the future. We need to start digging into that thing. And of course, by now, as of now, it's gone way past that. But this is the best example. And I'm going
Okay.
somewhere with it. This is not one of Mike's typical long-winded speeches. Why the heck did he talk to us about that thing? So forth. Anyways, HP faced a dilemma.
Okay.
I'm going to just pick numbers out of thin air. There was only two ways to go. HP could spend, we'll say, $10 billion. It's not a real number. I'm just picking it out thin
I know.
air.
Hypothetical.
On creating their own application performance management suite that could rival Mercury Interactive, or spend $7 billion and simply envelop them and make them Hewlett Packard. And that's what they did. They took them and had a big rah-rah sis boom bop party in Boston, and that was it. They spent less. And what happened to the time frame that we were just talking about?
Okay.
This is all I'm doing. I'm constantly looking for things like that that can take the things that we want to achieve and take it back.
Okay.
I'm saying if we do it, it's out here. But what if we form a synergistic partnership, right? What if we take more and more pieces of Wall Street here, for good or bad? Mergers, acquisitions, activist investors like me. Okay. And then we take that into the titanium ecosystem as partners, the synergy forms, and we're circling the wagons. And then those time frames go from here to here.
True.
This announcement today is an example of just that. Read the white paper. We're just telling you if we're on course, under promise, over deliver, we're just giving extremely conservative timelines and numbers. However, if you think we're just looking at that with blinders on, no, we're not. We're constantly looking for opportunities for synergy, for things to do that will accelerate our time frames and make our products even better, even faster. Always looking. How can we improve?
That is very important. And definitely the M&As which you're looking at, the mergers and acquisitions, these are important in an ecosystem. And what you're trying to do here is definitely what I can understand, and people understand that. Now, again, I'm not holding you anything responsible for the Q2, but I'm just making an assumption that, okay, there's something which is in the works. Let's be ready for that. Okay. And Titanium is constantly working towards that.
Exactly.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right.
We're going to do one thing, no guarantees. The only guarantee I can give about this is we're going to do our damn best. That I can guarantee.
And that's what everyone's looking for. Thank you.
Perfect.
The next question, I was talking to Simon Telfer the other day, and I asked Simon, hey, Simon, I'm talking to Michael this week. Do you have any questions for Michael? And he gave me a question. This is from, the credit goes to Simon.
Well, you said you were going to grill me, but this is an ambush.
Simon has a tough one for you, Michael. Here you go. Why is his gearbox not yet gone to his home? No, that's not the question.
Okay,
that's not his question. I was just...
no, but hold on now. I wanted to take you in another area of this office, and my guys are in this next room. I told them to be quiet, take it down. I've literally said 5 or 10 decibels, and they're in a room with piles of this stuff, putting gearboxes together. And now, after this, you can blame Simon for this, that I'll try to insist in my way to let me show you. They could be done by the time we're done, but I got to show you them doing the 10. And then that guy's going to shut up finally. That British gentleman.
Nice guy. I love Simon.
I'm not going to forget this, Telfer. I'm watching. I got your number.
Here goes the serious question. It's a good one. Exchanges are a necessary part of our blockchain ecosystem, but remain one of our greatest challenges.
Yeah,
Over the past years, they have become perceived as one of the most important contributors to value. Yet, they remain impervious to customer complaints and the impact of failure. Will the Blockchain Alliance reach out to the exchanges and encourage them to take a more participative role in public blockchain?
of course. We do that all the time. We actually, there's been several, public, I won't say battles, but challenges that have come across us, and that is pervasive throughout the entire blockchain community.
Yeah.
But Ray, okay, the first thing I talked about, what was the name of that product? Vordex. Okay,
Wardex.
so you can ask them nicely, but the reality is that people should be paying attention to what these people do, not what people say or what I say. I mean, hey, am I good at saying stuff? Sure as hell I do. I am good. Okay, but watch what we do, the results that we get. Now, what are these exchanges doing?
Yeah,
Do they care about you at all? No.
they don't.
One of the finest things that we're going to do with Vordex is reintroduce them to the blockchain community and elsewhere. The customer's always right. Again, the titanium mantra, besides under promise and over deliver, the customer's always right. Customer service is number one. We'll have the best customer service you've ever seen. If you open up a ticket, people will get in touch with you in a timely manner. You'll be treated like a lady or gentleman, and we will do everything that we can to make sure that you're completely satisfied. It's going
Awesome.
to be a paradigm shift. White
Paradigm.
will
You
become
stole
black.
my word. I was about to say that paradigm shift. Okay, that's exactly what.
They're not listening. They're
Yes.
not listening to anyone. They're not listening to you. Anybody who uses it. It's kind of like infrastructure as a service. My competitors. Well, they're the best there is. No, titanium infrastructure as a service is here. They're not listening. You're complaining. If they don't want to change their product and make it better, so the customer knows they're always right, and you're satisfied, to hell with them. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Now we're doing exchanges. Same thing. Well, they're the best we have. No, Vordex is the best there is. We're going to give it to you, and it'll force them to either compete with us, treat the customers well, right? The customer's always right. We're going to do whatever it takes. We're earning your business. We know that there's a variety of choices out there. I mean, this is like a recorded line, right? We know there's a variety of choices out there when it comes to cryptocurrency exchanges, and we really appreciate the fact that you're using Titanium's Vordex because we believe that you're number one, not us, you. Thank you for using our product. We're doing everything we can to keep you around, and we're always going to be paying attention to what you say so we can improve your product, our product, to make it even better for you.
Yes. Yes, that is true. Out of all this, problems arises opportunities, and that's what Titanium is trying to do.
Exactly.
And that's definitely, and I love the way it's been designed, the Vordex. And I think you have a creative director, Martha. I was talking to Martha about it. I think this is beautiful, the way it's coming out, the way it's forming. So we look forward to more news about Vordex in the future.
Yes, and we want feedback. There's two ways I use this Mercedes and BMW example. They need each other.
Right.
Better. But the other way is they actually pay attention to their consumers. What can we do to make it better? So they're doing this, and part of it is paying attention to the consumers and saying what's good, what's bad, what needs to be changed, all that other stuff, and that facilitates some of that stuff. So we want people to, as I've always said, brutal, honesty, constructive criticism. We welcome that with open arms. But before we go on, it's a common failure of mine as a human being. And thank you for bringing up Martha, who is a wonderful individual. She's valuable assets in terms of Titanium, one of the most valuable, and it is a Swiss Army knife of talent. Let me tell you. Now that said, a lot of people are mistaken about something when it comes to Titanium. There's this somewhat of a synonym thing going on, that I am Titanium. I am not Titanium. We are a team of people working day and night.
There you go.
I am one person as part of a chain of people, an unbreakable chain that circles the globe. I am not Titanium. I am so proud of my team that work day and night. The stuff that they do without me asking them to do a darn thing is ridiculously crazy amazing.
Yes.
I cannot thank them enough. I am not Titanium. It is a group of individuals working together day and night to achieve one thing, and that is excellence. I cannot thank them enough. and I'm going to do a better job of making people aware publicly that it's them, not me, that's making this happen.
Perfect. I think there are a lot of unsung heroes behind the scenes, and
Money.
I want to thank each one of them at Titanium for doing an excellent job at that. Because as people staying outside of your work environment, we get to see some of the little things they do, but there's a lot more happening behind the scenes, which we
Sure.
never get to see. And
Yes.
you as the face, I know there's other big faces at Titanium, but you can just let us know what is happening at Titanium, and that'll be a good thing for us. All right,
Yes.
moving on to the next question.
One
How
more
will,
thing.
yes,
I know as typical, I'm hijacking things. And I don't want this to happen anymore. I don't want me to be the only face that's out there. Those times are over. I'm doing it today because of what's going on and all. But we need to change that. It's something that I've emphasized many times. Is we need to see all the faces, everything that everybody's doing.
yes,
Frankly, I don't. I'm going to disagree with you for one of the few times in our time together, Ray. Which is, I don't want to tell you what they're doing. I want to show
okay,
you what they're doing.
okay, that's
I
even
want to
better.
tell you what they're doing.
Okay,
I don't want to be
that's
the face of Titanium 24/7.
okay.
Do I like the spotlight? Hell yes, I do. Okay, but they deserve that. I don't want to tell you what they're doing. I want to show you what they're doing. Not me. They'll do it. They'll tell you what they're doing, and I want that to be our strategic way of doing business.
Okay. Well, yeah, I see Richard in the Telegram channel answering so many
Yeah,
questions. Richard Silver, he's another great guy. There's a lot of people behind the scenes like that. In fact, what I'll do is I'll probably have a
please,
session with each one of them later. In fact, I was talking to Martha
please.
the other day, and I might have to interview her. In fact, she stays in Austin. I might do a face-to-face
Oh, I
interview.
forgot.
Who
You're in
knows?
Houston.
I'm in
Yeah,
Houston, so I
exactly.
might do a face-to-face interview with
Please do
her.
that. I admonish you to do that. No, please do that because
All
the
right.
fact is, I mean, well, you're right. And boy, this is one of those times where I've lied over and over again about not, shutting up, not hijacking the conversation. Yeah, a lot. I'm
No,
doing
this,
it
yeah,
anyway. But Rich, your comment's wonderful. He is a great guy, and he's always on Telegram. Look,
yes,
this man is one of the smartest guys on the planet. Okay, he is not a Telegram administrator.
but
Okay,
he's doing it there.
he's brilliant,
Yes.
an inventor, and a person that has this X factor of bringing cohesion within a group of disparate individuals in terms of personality, psychology, and geographic location. This is what this guy is. He's not a Telegram admin. Is he a good guy? Yeah, he is. This guy, he's an incredible guy. And that's why I want you to show the world that guy, Martha, and everybody within Titanium. So they know what I said is true.
Yes.
Titanium's not me. It's them.
Well, it's a team effort, and I believe that each one contributes
Yes.
definitely. And I look at sometimes every one of them, although I haven't had much interaction with Rich, but I will definitely have in the
Let's
future,
change that.
and I look forward to that definitely.
Yeah, let's
All right.
change that.
The next question: how is the team coming along in the Titanium world? Can you briefly talk about the team formation of the
Mhm.
new hires and the resource planning for the future?
Sure. So I mean, one of the main objectives of ours was to, find and create, more blockchain developers, and the finding part, it's a supply and demand thing. I mean, there's a limited supply of these, individuals, and it's more than just
True.
developers, of course, and that's why education is extremely important. We'll have a little talk later on in the year about that, right?
Okay.
Teaser. uh, but Poma, there you go.
I've seen some of the
Just
Poma.
add water.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We'll keep looking, you know. But now, and of course, we will entertain anybody's, resume. We get hundreds of resumes a week. We go over them all, but we're at the point where we can be choosy, and
True.
do what I like to do. Good's not good enough. We need excellent. And now I believe that this is one of the untold, X factor things about the Poma relationship is that it was just like, we went from zero to fulfilled in certain ways in 3.2 seconds. And I'm really happy about that in many ways. And so talent is no longer a problem. Now we're, at least myself, we're thinking about, the not the immediate goals so much, but down the road. Now, how do we've got, all the ammo. Now, where do we deploy here? What are we going to do next? Kind of thing is going on, which is, kind of the fun part for, people like myself. So that's extremely solid. Now we have a deep bench, to use an athletic term, and we can concentrate on just making things happen. Now all those timelines, again, after that happens and more of it happens, every time something like this happens, more and more people are going to be paying attention, including resources like this. And, it'll create a vortex, for these resources to come to us, I believe. And I'm going to watch that. It's, how I like metrics and all. I'm going to start watching what happens in terms of human resources and the people that start coming to us, and their credibility and their value.
Cool. All right, the next question. It is great to see some constructive titanium team events happening across different cities. Are there any plans to host titanium-related events highlighting what titanium does to bring more visibility and awareness to the general population who are interested?
Yeah. There's one thing I'd like to say, but I don't know if I can, frankly. And so I'm not going to. but yes, we're going to be doing that a lot quicker than you might think.
Okay.
Not a road show. Not, that's what you and I would probably call it, right? When's the road show going to happen? Not that, because we've got our timelines. And road shows are nice and all, but that's like socializing, going down to the bar and having a beer with your friends and all that stuff. But frankly, if we were concentrating on that and going down to the bar and having a beer with our friends, it would impact the timelines of us releasing our stuff on time.
Right.
Okay. So the road show is like, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I'm playing, Bill Belichick. Time out.
Time out.
Ooh, we're doing development. Can I go to the bar? No. That's it. No road show. That type of stuff is cool and all. And I think it's part of mass adoption. Like I said, down the road here, we're going to talk about education, and that could certainly be part of it, frankly. Is this roadshow, bringing it to the major metro areas, not only the United States, but around the world and all. But right now, all eyes are on development, right? We've got to make this what we're talking about happen, and that's that. And you're not, after this, that's it. I'm going back to being silent.
Yes. It's very important that people understand this. It's good that you're bringing this up, because a lot of people, when I'm interacting with some of the folks outside, they'd say, "Hey, is Michael alive?" Then I realize,
really?
Yeah. So he is live and breathing. It's just that what you mentioned here, that you guys are in the background working on stuff, making sure there is the right time to come in and announce all those things. So you got to understand that the way people think, right? So I find that it's a good opportunity for us to have these kind of meetings sometimes, once in a while, to showcase some of the things which are going on in the background. So I think that's a good idea. So
yeah,
I think what I should tell them is he's more alive than ever. I think that's what I need to tell them.
Yeah. Again, hopefully you've seen I've gained some weight. and my demeanor is like, it's not like, well, okay, we're going to do this and that, and I'm really excited about things that are happening right now. Everything is great. Everything is my version of normal, and I can focus on the things that are going to make titanium great in the future. I can say the same thing about everybody else, but that was the funniest thing I've heard in a long time, is Michael alive. Yeah. Oh my God. It reminds me of the old days. I hate to say, when, somebody important, they didn't see them for a certain amount of time. And it's like, is he sick? Does he have cancer? It's like, look, frankly, I'll be the comedic self I am. Look, if I wanted to read the National Enquirer, I'd go buy one. Okay. Get a hobby or something, you'll know when I'm dead. I'll have a celebration, and you'll be invited. Okay. You'll know.
No,
until then, I'm alive and I'm going to kick ass. That's it.
It's all in good humor. That's good. All right. The next one is a tough one. I know you're expecting this question. Probably I'm not going to wait on this question anymore. A lot of people are still intrigued by the malicious theft at titanium.
Sure.
Do we have any updates on the situation? If not, can we expect some updates about it in the near future or anytime soon?
Yes, it's been actually tedious for me, frankly. I'm not everybody knows I'm not. When I say I'm being patient, again, that's my version of patient. I'm not patient at all. I just, I'm like that instant gratification kind of person, for the most part. And I actually hate this that it's gone on for so long, but it has gone on for this amount of time for a good reason. I actually have an upcoming meeting. I can't say when, but it's in the
Okay.
very, very near term.
Okay.
And I've been told that that's probably going to tie a bow on this thing.
Good.
And I may see you much faster than we both.
Awesome. We look forward to that. And that's the reason I want to assure these guys, these people who doubt it, because you guys are working in the background. Understand that. So you said there's an upcoming meeting which might tighten up all the buttons which are there, and then you might have something for us. So
Correct.
just to let people know that they're working in the background, any
Yes.
doubters out there, just be sure that there's something coming out, as Michael said here. Okay, that's good.
Sure.
Thank you for the answer. We do appreciate that.
Sure. I'm sorry I have to be vague about it, but that's it. You
No,
know.
at least we have some information. You have an upcoming meeting
Yes.
in and so we'll have something which is near to closure there. Okay.
Yes, there's a process for it. I have to follow it. It's kind of like, we're all waiting for certain regulations to come out. We could sit around and wait for them to happen, or we could get in front of it and actually interact with these agencies as we are here at Titanium and myself to help mold, these things and advise and educate and things along those lines. There are laws and laws must be followed. I want things to happen fast, but hey, you do it right or you do it fast.
You do the right thing. That should be the thing. All right.
Exactly. Just wait. Try to be patient. Not my version of patient, your version, hopefully.
I have a lot of patience, to be honest with you. I wait for you like 1 hour, 2 hours, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. And Ray's great. He's doing things that probably I'd be like, the hell with him. I'm not waiting any longer. But yes, you've been a trooper today. I should. Here I am thanking my team and going into eloquence.
It's an honor, Michael. Thanks.
You're a respectable gentleman, and I admire your intelligence and more than you might think, and what you do more than you might think, because you're a star here in this area. I kid you
Thank
not.
you. Appreciate
and although I stopped wearing my suit, for maybe impact, you keep wearing that thing and that, but you waited a long time, and boy, you were very flexible and understanding with me today, and I sincerely thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Next question. I have a couple more here. I probably will go for another 20 minutes. You still have the time? We good on time?
Yeah. After you waited this long, you got it.
Thank you. I'm sure Titanium has done its part by sending Tbars to the HIT BTC exchange to be distributed to the Tbar holders.
Yeah.
I understand it has been a concern for a lot of people, but looking at some of the emails, your team has handled it from the Titanium side and they're good.
Yeah.
Do you think HIT BTC will make sure that the Tbar distribution will happen?
Yes, I do. I'm confident that they will, but now we're back to, the Serenity Prayer. I've got control over Titanium, the people within it. We're being, if anybody can tell me, and I'm not kidding, if anybody wants to give us feedback as to how we can be more transparent about this whole tedious thing that's going on with them, then tell us what that is, and we'll do it as long as it's reasonable.
Okay.
But on our end, all we're doing is making sure that we can say at the end of the day that we did best effort. There was just nothing else that we could come up with. And believe me, we have, not necessarily myself all the time, but there are people within Titanium all the time. I've admonished them to come up with things, any nuance, like you said, the little things,
Right.
that can potentially make the difference here. And we'll try that too. But the reality is that they've got control over them. Okay. What can I do? It's not like I can do anything above and beyond what I've done so far. There's been several times where they've said that if we do this, then it's going to happen within a certain time frame. And all we can do is look back at that day and say we did our best, and we're doing just that. It's on them. If you want to complain, then complain to them. They are not doing their part. We're doing our part every single day. We're even thinking about things that they're not asking for that we can do to urge it along even further.
Okay. But I'm sure HIT BTC, the communications which I've seen, they're doing all the best they can do.
Yes.
And I'm sure we should be getting the T-bars, whoever has that on the exchange. So that's good. Thank you for that answer.
Yes, but I mean, one more thing is that, of course, we're going to do everything on our side to make things right. We're, going to continue to strive, to do what we said before, excellence and customer support and putting our customers first. And I want to emphasize what I said before. If anyone, it means anyone. It doesn't matter where you are, that if there's any small thing that you can come up with that could help this process along so that we can help you indirectly, that I would like to hear what that is, and we'll certainly take that under consideration.
Okay.
Because reality is that in the Olympics, for example, sometimes you see the 100-meter dash, and the difference between the gold, the silver, and the bronze is sometimes 1/10 of a second. And that's
Yes.
why the slightest little tweak, that's why don't say to yourselves, well, why would Titanium and Mike want to hear from me? I'm nobody or something like that. Never say that.
Yeah.
Nobody is nobody. You're somebody. And if that's that little tweak that makes the difference between it getting done quicker, I would love to hear from you.
Thank you. All right. Social media is a powerful tool for staying in the news and getting updates. Based on some feedback, there is a general feeling that we need to highlight the great suite of products that Titanium has
Sure.
and unleash this in a more turbo mode on the social media channels. Advantages being we get more visibility and exposure and can contribute towards the mass adoption of what Titanium believes in. Do you think that is something which Titanium can look into and consider?
Of course. This
Okay.
is exactly what I'm looking for, in fact. This is great, frankly. Is this yours, Ray?
Yes. No,
Boom.
because
Home run, man. That's it. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
okay.
Because when I say I really don't know, I mean, I'm not being a comic, although I'm, as you're aware, I do that a lot. But I'm not being a comic when I say I don't know what's going on in the news. And so this is the type of, and I appreciate the tone of the way you put it too. It wasn't, hey, you guys suck and this could, but I want you, after we're done here, to send that straight to me.
Okay.
Word for word, straight. And I'm going to bring it to the team's attention.
Okay.
And then metrics, here we go again. We're going to take a look at everything we're doing. Okay. We're going to bring up all the analytics from Twitter and the rest of these things and start being more hardcore about gauging impact, about taking it up a notch. Okay? Given the fact that we're probably going to do that after what you heard.
Thank you.
Still,
because
we don't want that then. I don't want it to be because of today. We should have been doing that back then. And you're right, I think. So
it's a powerful medium, because I see some of the other, I'm not just looking at Titanium, some of the other assets which are out there. I'm invested into a lot of other ones too, but Titanium is my best investment. I know that. I've seen.
Okay, look, I've got some advice for you. You got to take that stuff. I mean, just my recommendation, take it back a notch. Because you know what's going to happen next, right? I'm going to get like 500 emails tomorrow. It's like, well, how much are you paying Ray?
They already asked me, not a single dime. I can prove that, Michael. Again, I'll go on camera. I'll go on record to say here that I don't get a penny from Michael, okay? Or from Titanium.
Okay, but let's take it a step further.
This is just in my interest. This is just in my interest.
Yes, please. I'm just saying, I mean, unless you like that, I mean, we don't like 500 emails tomorrow or whatever. No, I think it was off camera. Did I offer you a job at Titanium?
We'll talk offline, Michael. We'll talk offline. All right. The next is the favorite question for the people who love the master notes. Okay, I'm sure you have something, but this is not, again, on this question, I don't want you to commit on anything because people hold you to that. This question is more targeted towards a different aspect and a perspective.
Sure.
We have heard some great positive feedback about the innovative approach Titanium has about master notes. You know what I'm talking about, the tiers and other things.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to commit again to anything here, but can you talk about how it will be beneficial to the Tbar holders?
Sure. Well, I mean, there's two things that I can say again vaguely, and you're right. I made the mistake of saying like earlier, I'm going to take a number out of thin air, $10 billion for Hewlett Packard, and then it suddenly became real. It's like I was just saying maybe, that type of thing. So I can't go into that. But what it's going to do is encourage participation across the board, these tiered things. You don't have to go in high. Nobody else is doing that. We're the only ones that are thinking about these things. Right. Okay. So what benefits them is, the psychological thing. I've got a master node, and people will, be happy about that thing and being rewarded for having it. But we're not going to put it up here. And I think it was a long time ago that I was saying, and it was, well, prices were different, but Ethereum, they were talking about, I think, like 1,000, something like that. Ethereum, you'd have to stake, and my friend Vitalik's Casper. Don't get me started. Okay, so anyways, What amount of money is that?
Yeah.
Who's going to do that? Okay, now, titanium. You don't have to have $100,000 to get a master node,
Yeah.
right? We're making it that everybody pretty much can do it. Or even if they don't, it'll be like me when I lived on a farm and we put the bar here. It was, I couldn't get there yet, but that capitalist incentive is there, and that person's going to shoot for it,
Right.
and that too. So that's one,
That's the benefit
mechanism.
of that. Okay. I
The
like the
other,
word when you said
go.
participating
Participation.
in that. For every one of them, you might have something. So you're not looking at, now I was looking at the master notes the other day, Dash. I think if you have to get into Dash now, you have to have at least more than $100,000 to get a master node. So similarly, so titanium,
Really,
if you look at the general, it's for the masses. You might talk about mass
exactly.
adoption generally, and that is where we're coming from. So
Exactly. If I didn't do that, I'd be a hypocrite.
yeah,
I would not be doing something that would, again, urge mass adoption to transpire. Now, there's one
that's
other thing, and I keep on bringing this up, and it was like 5 years back, I think I saw it, but it was just the Bitcoin proof of work miners alone.
mhm.
It was a year, it was using more electricity than Ireland.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. I guess that was the one thing that, one of Mike's, metrics that he likes to, yeah, that was 5 years back. Now, how many proof of work things are out there? What is it? The entire Northern Europe that's being, of electricity being used? Imagine all that stuff chugging away in China. What the hell is that doing?
Yeah.
Now, not only did I encourage participation, are they using electricity for proof of work? No, they're not. Now, we can start thinking about other technologies that can reduce the energy cost of the proof of work. But here's what's happening with titanium now. Here's proof of work and proof of stake, right? It's like down here, right?
Mhm. Okay. There you go.
Now, we become the greenest, most ecological blockchain on the planet. Boom.
So and that's what is required going forward.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
True. Okay. All right. The next question I have, I know I had prepared about 20 questions, so we are almost near 15 right now. Okay. Except
Go on,
one,
man.
which I gave credit to Simon Telfer. So I had 19 questions, 20 questions.
Oh my God, I'm getting in touch with him soon.
No, Simon is a great guy.
He is.
I had interviewed him when he was with HTML. So
Yeah.
he's a technology evangelist, and you are a blockchain evangelist. So
Yes,
I
that's
wish
true.
I could meet him someday when I go to UK, but I definitely want to meet him. And when I come to LA, I'll probably meet you. Okay.
Well, we can make
Next
something like that
question.
happen.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We can make something like that happen, I said.
Definitely, definitely.
Not a problem.
What are the plans for the merchandise store? Will it strictly be an online store, or what kind of products are being planned to be stocked?
This one is the one that I can't even answer.
Really? Okay.
Yes, those decisions have not been made. You can make, it could be parts of the gearbox thing, but I don't want to even say that because I want to improve some stuff in that thing. Those, and I want things to be there to be even more variety.
Not a
But
problem.
again, I did it for a reason, and it was marketing and all. I was urging people at the time, before I didn't have to urge anybody any longer, to participate in the titanium ICO. And that's what these dudes are going through, a mountain of that stuff. I kid you not, in the next room. But I want to make that available to everyone.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
All right, this one, you love this question.
I hope so.
Titanium plans to use the follow the sun principle. I read the white paper, the revised white paper. I like that, the follow the sun principle, to provide close to 100% uptime.
Yeah.
If this is the case, there is a need for some kind of support model in terms of resources to be spread across the world. Does Titanium plan to set up offices at strategic locations across the globe to manage this?
It's already in motion. I told you earlier in the conversation that, we take a look at the hotspots, and we have to make sure that all the time zones are covered at the lowest possible cost, but not at the expense of quality. And again, we're going to be keeping careful watch. I think that this is going to be another, in the typical technology world, it's normal, but we're going to be very, we're making sure that, our employees and their productivity is carefully monitored, shall we say. More metrics, that Mike likes. And if they don't live up to our standards, then they're gone. That's it. And And we need to make sure that everybody is understanding that from the very beginning, so that out of the gate, they're going to have to understand that our standard is not good, it's excellence. And they have to understand that our number one asset above and beyond certain things is our customers.
True.
And to pay attention to them. And that means this follow the sun analogy that I was referring to, agile software methodology, software development methodology at the time, but the same. It will be applied to our support system. It will be global in nature, of course. It will be 24/7. And I believe that we're going to go into the, same type of tiered, at least we're considering, the same type of tiered mechanism that you would get from Hewlett Packard or IBM, Google, whatever, so that you have an SLA and you get your support taken care of in a certain amount of time and these things. So we're looking into all these possibilities.
The SLA offerings like the bronze, silver. I remember as part of the project, one of the projects I had, we had those kind of bronze, silver, gold offerings for that.
Yeah. At Hewlett Packard, if you have Premier Care, that means you open up a ticket that's a SEV1 within 4 hours, and that was, of course, under promising and over delivering. It was usually an hour. That they get in touch with you. I've been on several projects on top of that where they'd have a dedicated customer focal point. All they did was make sure that those tickets, when they were opened, that they were accelerating them.
Gotcha.
So, but you paid more money. That's just the way it was.
All right. So just to let you know, if I was in Singapore working for Sony for about 4 years out there. So I know Singapore. So if you have any questions, let me know. I was back in, I don't remember the year, but I used to work there for Sony in Singapore.
Yeah, we need to talk about that, off the record.
All right.
You're going to cut out two things. Did I ever offer you a job? Cut that out. And this. But they're definitely, after Thailand, got weird, that was next.
Okay. That's a great Lee Kuan Yew. He was the founder of Singapore, and I worked there. It's a fine city, and we can talk more about that.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste it. But
I want to set up a separate meeting. Yeah. After we're done, let's set up, get the availability going, because I want to talk about that for sure.
Okay, definitely.
Philippines is another, potential.
Okay. All right. So the next one, I have 3 more. Well, 2 more.
Yes.
Titanium's ambitious goal looks at being a one-stop shop for enterprise management, providing infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and many more, and other related services. Big corporations and enterprises tend to resist change unless something gets broken. How do you plan to bring in support from them and convince them and sell your suite of products to potential clients?
That's a good question. No, the reason why I'm laughing is I've got this story, and it's called The Event.
The event?
The event.
Okay.
So I wish I could, well, I'll tell you offline sometime, but there was a potential client, that there was an RFP out there, a request for proposal, and we would put our proposal in, and we were told basically that, we were the best option, but we were too expensive. And then a little later, the event happened. Something broke in a big way, and it cost them a ton of money. And then suddenly, in comparison, here's what it cost them. It's called the cost of downtime. When this most recent Amazon event transpired that, nuked Binance, I believe it was.
Yes.
It's like, what do you need? I don't need to even talk about it. It's like, just watch, it'll happen. Everything I say that happens, and you'll see.
They'll eventually turn around and come to Titanium, I'm sure. When you offer the uptime, what is required?
Okay, but we're kind of getting at your question now, right? Something has to break.
Yes.
Okay, so now, how many times does that happen? We're burning. How many times did this happen with Azure, with Amazon Web Services, whatever? It's just happening over and over again, just like I said it would. There's proof positive. It's not me spreading propaganda or whatever. So that the event has to happen, right? Or it has to happen a certain amount of times. It's almost like an injury. There's micro trauma at first. That hurt. That's okay. We'll put a Band-Aid on it. That hurt. Okay, this time Neosporin, then the Band-Aid. Until it's just like, forget this, and that's, the event, the threshold hits. But frankly, like we were alluding to earlier, I think that the initial foothold, although we're trying our hardest, within, the American markets and those like it, is going to be in emerging markets. We're going to get our foothold there. And that's why I was going after Thailand in this example, because it's going to be a lot easier for us to do that. And so, yes, a combination of what you said, something has to be broken, the event. But if we do things, let's say that, for example, that there's a Walmart equivalent in Thailand.
Okay.
And if we do a good job there, we go in, and all we're trying to do is, give them for free now, for a certain period of time, our infrastructure as a service product. And all we want you to do is put it in your developer sandbox environment,
Test it out.
Just do this.
It's a pilot, basically, right?
Yeah. And we just want them to maybe do a press release. They're saying, hey, the Walmart of Thailand is considering titanium as an infrastructure as a service platform, and we are currently in our sandbox and development environment. We are doing a bake-off, is what we call it, right? We're doing a comparison test,
Right.
between them and our current product, and if it turns out to have a better features and it costs less, then we're going to be definitely considering them as a strategic solution. That's it.
Okay.
So we're going to keep on hitting that. I mean, we're not giving, it's not like we're giving up on anything over here, of course. We keep on banging away, but I really think that, emerging markets are where we're going to get our foothold. And after that, the equivalent of Walmart over here, it's like we can come back over here. We got a real life use case. Walmart over there did it. You can't say it can't be done in your type of environment because it did. Now you're of a higher scale, but it was done. We're just going to throw more resources at it. What does it cost? Free. It's free. Here it is. Use it for a year. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yep.
That's
That's
the
good.
play.
That's a good way to address that. Okay.
And we
Thank
don't
you.
have to wait for it to be broken. We just say, we know it's going to be broken. We just have to wait. It's going to break. In the
You know,
meantime, here it is, free. Price is
yeah.
right.
To be honest, just to share an example with you, uh, in a PMO, a project management office, right? We were a developing PMO, and we did a project for a financial department. And once we earned the right, and the other departments wanted to manage projects by our PMO. So once you prove that you're successful, everyone will come back and say, "Hey, I want to use them. I want to use this
Exactly.
product," and that's
Exactly.
exactly what will happen. I get
Natural
your point.
vortex. I keep on using this term over and over. I'm doing it to, brand my exchange. I really am not. But that's what happens.
Vortex. Yes.
You just freaking do that, and then you don't have to sell yourselves. That that the word of mouth. People all are constantly, would you like to advertise this? Would you like to use our services for this, services this? I'm like, no, I don't want to use it. Why do I even want your services? I'm
Yeah.
going to do what you just said. I'm going to go over there and, we're going to do great. We're going to prove that we're great. It's going to go and people are going to start to know about it. And what you said, I don't even know if it's called this, anymore, but SBUs, right? Strategic business units,
SPs, yeah.
like it's inside this big, company like Walmart, we'll just say you do it for over here. And then through the grapevine, people are talking, they're, it's on the lunch break. It's like, what's going on, Frank?
Yes.
Well, we just went through this project with titanium and man, they really did a good job. And you should probably consider using them. I got some contact information if you'd like. That's
Yeah.
advertisement for us.
That's yes. Yeah. All right. The next one. This is what I have. I got a chance to read about the crypto escrow in the revised white paper. Do you think you can explain something about that and what it plans to accomplish? The crypto
Yeah.
escrow?
Yeah, I mean, briefly, and we're working on
Briefly, yes.
an accelerated plan for that because I can only say, there's nothing there that I can either not talk about it, or it's, just it has to be big. So the idea, if you look at the last page of the white paper, is on one page, it's a Solidity a Solidity smart contract, the main Ethereum code,
Okay.
and what it does is escrow in one, page. Now, can we do a house sale with that? No. But if my mom, wanted to make one of her highly specialized sweaters for somebody, and somebody else wanted to buy it, and you wouldn't need, that middleman. And that's one of the things that, is blockchain's sweet spot. Although again, a lot of people talk about it, nobody seems to be doing it. And that is this escrow piece.
Okay.
And I believe that we're missing a big opportunity here. Again, a lot of people talk about it, nobody's doing anything about it. So it's titanium. We're going to set up an escrow system that eliminates the need for escrow. It's going to be right there. And there's already been federal district court justices, I forget exactly what districts they're in, that have already ruled that if a smart contract is used as evidence, you don't go away. There it is. We understand what that means. And if you want to complain about it, it's not going to do you any good because it's a smart contract and you can't complain against it. Have a nice day, get out. So I think that is an opportunity again for me. As a businessman, I think that the blockchain space is basically like shooting ducks in a barrel. There's so many opportunities out there that are just ripe for the taking, and I keep on waiting for other people to do it, and frankly, hoping that other people would, to take it and run with it. So I didn't have to come up with people to do it. But this is a big bang, I think.
Okay.
Fintech is the future, I believe, and again, low hanging fruit for us, and eliminating middlemen that just simply don't need to be there. They are creating bottlenecks. They're creating time bottlenecks, resource bottlenecks, money bottlenecks, etc. And so titanium will eliminate them one by one.
Cool, cool. I think I've reached the end. I think we have gone over an hour probably, but I did get a lot of questions answered. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate your
You got to check the
coming over
phone.
here. Sure.
Because it lit up a bunch of times, and I just want to make sure it's not my wife calling me over and over again, and it's not. Okay. I just have to get that. Somebody was important and all, but you know how it is. Here's this guy's importance, and here's the wife's importance. Okay, so it was a pleasure, Ray. Thank you again for being patient and all. And so, what do you think? We did a good job here today, or what?
Great job. I think I love the. If you summarize this, I think the announcement. People have to understand that it has to sink in. That is. If the expectation of the people was you're tying up with another Amazon or something, no, that's not big. I'll tell you, that's not big.
You're right.
Real life usage of what we do every day is important. That is the real big announcement, what I think. And collaborating with Poma, coming up with that, this is something which we need to. I encourage people, in fact, to go look up some statistics on WordPress. No, I definitely want people to go in, Google up all this, anything about WordPress. Just go to their homepage and look at that. How many plugins they have, how many exposure they have, okay? 60 million people use that, okay, for the blogs, for online content management system. So this is all I can tell you. If you don't know much about it, go Google that and you will know the impact of what Titanium can do along with Poma on that.
Yes, and this frankly is the last thing I can say to you because I frankly have to go to the little boys' room.
Okay.
You know me, I'm sitting here, I have to do it because I talk all day, but that's it, man. You got it. I couldn't talk that long about it, but it's those damn API hooks and all those plugins.
Yes.
What can't you do? Is the question that people should be asking themselves with this thing. Because as soon as it's in there, it's just like this.
Yes. Hey, thank you, Michael. Again, it's a pleasure for you to come on our show, on our channel, and talk to us about it. Again, I want to thank you and wish you all the best in the future for your endeavors. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Same to you, sir. Thanks again for being patient. You're a star. Remember to send me that question.
I will.
And then I'll go in there and it's like, hey, we should be doing this a lot better. What's going on here?
Yeah, I will do that. Thank you.
Okay. Take it easy, man.